What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Plastic Power. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Plastic Power Podcast. This is Star Blast Studios alongside Daredevil 19 and Champ Animations. And today, guys, we're back again with another video. We're going to be talking about Figma. Figma is a figure company. Needless to say,
it's a company.
It's a company.
Import company.
Just from the simple introduction, you can kind of probably understand where we're going to be going with this. I think that what we're basically trying to do, what we're doing this episode for, is we're trying to figure out what exactly is the deal with them. A lot of the times, Figma would seem to compete with a lot of other companies, Figuarts or the
Mafex.
Well, Amazing Yamaguchi. Lots of different companies in terms of making stuff, but a
Pretty
lot of
much other imports.
A lot of the times now, Figma has had a lot of bangers in the past when it comes to the figures that they've made, but nowadays you're seeing how outdated and such they are in terms of other ones. They always seem to be the butt end of a lot of these releases and such. And so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go a little bit deeper into that. Just look at other figures from the past lines, then and see exactly and try to figure out what exactly the deal is with Figma. Now, Sean, I believe you've recently gotten quite a few Figmas as of late.
No, not me. I don't really buy Figma too much. I just pre-ordered the Thorfinn. I've had a bunch of Figma figures in the past. Okay. Like example, their One Punch Man stuff. Champ has the Saitama now.
Oh yeah, that's right over here. So yeah, this guy that I got, like a few years ago. This was my first and last. And only Figma figure.
Left a bad taste in his mouth.
Yeah, to be honest, it kind of did because I saw on 5K Toys, was it
Dazen Model.
Dazen Models. They have a better Saitama, and I got that last Christmas, and it's such a big look. Hold on, let me see if I can take the. Okay, so the cape is like crap, and dude,
which I don't understand. They use cloth capes.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, he's so, like, I understand, like, comedic moments, he's, like, skinny, but, dude, why does he got, like, a hunchback? I don't know if you can see that, but he looks like...
Yeah, that is something they do a lot.
Now, if he did not look... If he didn't look like Caillou enough already, that figure makes him look even more like Caillou, especially with that body type, bro.
What's crazy, though, their Genos is really good, but then you have the Saitama, and it's just a big letdown.
I didn't even know they came out with a Genos.
Yeah, that's all they made. But that's another thing they do. They'll only release like 1 to 5 figures from a certain series, and it's like, hey, where are the rest of the characters? So all they made was Saitama and Genos. But the Genos one was really, really nice, and that one I did like better than the Dazen Model. But Dazen Models was really good too.
In terms of pricing, though, I would still find that the Genos from Dazen Model has a very big edge over the Figma one, just simply because of the price point.
Yeah, you can get both of them for $100.
Does anyone know how much this originally cost?
I think Figma? It was 60. I think I got it for 60 originally.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure like Dazen Models, that figure was like around $50, or I believe. I think it still is.
That was at a different time. Yeah. Like at that point, like 60.
Nah, you could still get it at 50.
Yeah,
the Dazen Model.
Yeah, surprising. Well, no, I'm talking about the Figma. The Figma Saitama I remember getting for 60 in particular because I got it off Big Bad Toy Store. And Big Bad Toy Store usually raises the price on stuff when it comes to imports. So, that says something about the original price.
You want to know how much I paid for this?
$80.
Yeah.
I knew it. Goodness gracious.
Let's see how much it's going for now.
I think it's because I bought that at like a random anime store when I was out of town one time, and I was like, "Oh, that looks cool to get." So who keeps texting me?
It's still around. Someone's selling one for $45 used, and then there's a new one here for about $70. So it's still
Figma?
Around. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's still around retail, and there's a shit ton of bootlegs.
I think this should be $30 at most.
Yeah, and then right here, the Dazen Model 56. So
it's interesting because I think that one of the things that highlighted the basic problems with Figma as of late is the comparison with the Chainsaw Man line. Now, I feel like with Jujutsu Kaisen, there was a lot of pros and cons. Legitimately that Figma did do pretty cool between their figures and SHF, but the Chainsaw Man line is like, my goodness, it's so many different problems with Figma have been highlighted in a way I've never seen quite on this scale before. I think the last time that I've seen Figma have like this much of a problem when it came to how their figures came out was originally, this was back, I don't know how many years back, but Figuarts did a Bruce Lee figure, and then Figma also around the same time did a Bruce Lee figure, and my gosh, it's like that Figma's Bruce Lee is the ugliest figure I have ever seen.
Like, it really is. It's really was not a good figure. I remember when I first got it, I thought it was all right, and then the more I had it over time, I'm like, man, this thing is straight trash. And then I got the figure arts one, and I sold that Figma one like that.
Like, get it out of here.
But back to Chainsaw Man, I do like the couple little added accessories they gave, but that's not going to make me want to buy that over the figure arts, because they gave him an axe, and then he has a hand with something in it, I think a knife. But you can swap out the chainsaws for his regular head and arms, and then he had the little chainsaw thing, devil.
Yeah. That in and of itself, like, I would say it does have that edge in like over Figuarts and just how it handles the accessories. I do like that we get Denji playability and such. We don't get that with Figuarts. Will have to make like a whole separate figure.
They probably will.
But here's the thing.
They probably will.
Here's the thing, and this is where it kind of takes the advantage. Now we see this example in the Jujutsu Kaisen line. One of the advantages with the Yuji figure. That the Yuji figure from Figuarts has. So people think that, okay, the Sukuna face that comes with Yuji is a lot better on the Figma one. And yes, that is true. I actually agree. The Figma one does have a better Sukuna face. But in terms of playability, if you get the Sukuna figure that just came out from Figuarts, you're getting better facial expressions and more options to use with that base figure. And it's like for the price point that you are paying for both of those figures, it's like 2 Figuarts is 1 Figma. They're like Figma's stuff is like I want to say like $80-$90. Sometimes they're going for $100 depending on where you're getting it from, and it's like 2 Figuarts are both of them are almost the exact price of one. And
another thing
more,
too is they're really fragile, Figma.
Yeah, I've heard that multiple times as well. It's that goes into a whole other problem. Figma.
Yeah, I'll go into that in a sec. Because I had a break on mine.
No, go ahead. You know what? I'll let you go ahead. You brought it up.
Yeah. So the Genos figure. Back to him. I did sell it, and I was going to pack it up, and I was just standing up. I was holding it about like waist high, and the figure was sitting on top of the box, and it slid off and fell on a carpet.
The other half
carpet.
Of it?
What happened?
The other half of it?
Well, I had the box, and then the figure was on top of the box, and it slid off. Now it fell on a carpet, soft carpet, and the neck joint snapped and broke. Really? Really? Now I understand a hardwood floor or something, or tile, but on a carpet?
All right, let's do a test with this guy. Let's
okay,
see,
hold on.
He just throws it out of his wallet.
Listen. Before we do anything crazy, I had the same. I actually did have something like this happen, not with Figma, but with the Figuarts. And it's because sometimes if the figure falls, if the weight goes onto that joint, because a lot of the time the neck joints are like with the ball hinges, right? So those aren't those as much as stronger as they are. Those the lack of plastic makes them inherently fragile in a lot of ways if you mess with them like incorrectly. This was years back. I had an old Resurrection F Super Saiyan Blue Goku figure. Fell off the shelf, broke the peg broke. Thankfully, it was very easy. It's very easy to get copies of that figure.
Yeah.
And so like at that point in time, not as much today, but like I was able to get another one at Barnes and Noble. And
that was all over the place back then.
Yeah, all over the place. So it wasn't that much.
Why is this a design? Like, seriously, why would you just have the peg stuck in the head scope? I never understood that. Like,
yeah.
Why the? Anyway, continue.
But no, yeah, like that is another interesting thing is that like Figma makes questionable design choices when it comes to how they engineer the figures. They still have like those disc joints which can disconnect.
Yeah.
And then and the price of them is raising. Some of them have decent accessories, which makes them pretty good, and other ones,
Yeah.
they're not so much. Like what I do notice a lot of the times, some of my favorite Figma figures that I do actually own are not the
Yep.
ones are the ones that do not have any competition with them. One of those figures is my Phoenix Wright. I am a big fan of the Ace Attorney franchise. I know a lot of people may not know about that, but I absolutely love Ace Attorney. The Phoenix Wright figure is good. I mean, I know it's not inherently, the best kind of figure, but it's like it's the best Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney figure you can actually own. And
Yeah.
there is no other competition with that. The faces are cool. It does the job well. It articulates enough. Like I know it could be better. Like for example, Figuarts recently released a Lloyd Forger, and the body mold would basically be the exact same thing because they use a suit. They both kind of wear suits. The only thing different would be the colors on it. But
Yeah.
like the fact that so that just kind of goes to show that I think that the biggest thing with Figma a lot of the times is the competition. If there's another company making stuff, it shows how outdated their stuff is. And I think that another thing that very much highlights it more so than the Ace Attorney is their Attack on Titan line of figures. That one in particular, there's no other company making any Eren, Mikasa, Armin, or Erwin, or even Levi that they just recently released. None of them. There's no companies making them, and so
Yeah.
I mean, there was McFarlane, but that sucked. Anyway,
Yes.
we're
not
talking
talking
about
about
we're talking about import companies that actually have interchangeable faces and such.
Yeah.
yeah.
Not
Yeah,
interchangeable
McFarlane's
heads.
more domestic. Yeah, domestic, and he'll give you an accessory or two if you're lucky. If you're lucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're the only company making Attack on Titan figures, and there's Attack on Titan is extremely popular, and people want figures of that series.
I'm
and
surprised there isn't more figures for that, franchise, because that's like you said, it's like very popular right now. So
Yeah.
the only figures I've been seeing is on 5K with those third party like Aaron Titan and Armored Titan.
You talking
Have
There's a
seen
third
those?
party company.
That company.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't
Now,
remember the
it
name,
looks like a
but
good
they
figure.
they make like the making the Titan forms. And
I
I'm
mean, they
like,
did make the horses. The horses did look pretty cool and articulated, though, for 1/12 scale horses.
I like
But
I like the horses.
the horses look good, like because you could use them for whatever. If you wanted a horse for like I don't know, if you have a cowboy figure.
No,
or-
that is inherently true. Like the
Yeah,
person
yeah.
making whoever it was, like who was behind making the Erwin figure, I feel like he was actually one of the people that really cared and really wanted to help make a good product. Like
yeah.
So yeah, like the horse with Erwin was absolutely necessary. It was very good that they came out and released that with it.
Yeah, because that's a big thing, right? They're always riding horses and stuff.
Well, Erwin in particular has a very dramatic scene that plays out while he's on his horse, so it makes a lot of sense to have that.
Yeah. Why you gotta bring that up, man? Now I'm gonna have PTSD.
If you guys know, you guys know.
How many characters have they made in the Attack on Titan line? Do you know?
I believe it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, like just the main main
that's
three
it?
characters, and then Erwin and Levi. I think that's it.
See?
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Now that's another thing. They have the license to a huge series.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing we were saying with Berserk. And they just don't really do anything with it. It's like, what are you guys doing? Sitting around with your thumbs, planning up your ass. Like,
Can you
what's
imagine
going
if
on?
they make the horse from Berserk? Because I didn't find out about that.
Well,
I did find
Figure
out
Arts-
that.
I still don't know
Figure
what you're
Arts is
talking about.
given-
I need to catch up on Berserk.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the...
Yeah, I
it's
think
from the
Sean knows.
2016 anime.
Okay.
I found
It's like
out
the
about
first
that the
episode
wrong
or the
way.
second episode.
Yeah, I
But
blend
yeah,
the
it's-
memes on Instagram.
It like
Jesus.
gets possessed and turns
Yeah,
into like
we're
a
not going to
pervert.
spoilers,
Okay,
but
okay.
That's all we're gonna say.
Okay.
yeah. But what was I saying? That was another thing about Figma. So what were we just talking about with them? Not releasing. Like they keep dropping a ball when they have a license to something.
Yes.
So they did that with Berserk, lost the license. Now Figure Arts
Yeah,
is going to be our savior.
Their pacing is the thing. Their pacing is very, very slow when it comes to the releases. Oftentimes, I think we were just talking about before the podcast, before we start recording, is that they oftentimes would have a release date, but then for some reason the release would get pushed back, and then you would see this happen quite often. Like
Figma does that.
I thought you were talking about that. Yeah, Figma does that.
No, that's Mezco. Mezco does that. What Figma does. So we'll use the Thorfinn as an example. So Thorfinn, they revealed the unpainted prototype about 3 years ago. They're good with releasing when they say they're going to release stuff, but they are super slow. It's like they need another factory or something. So they showed that off 3 years ago. Then we got the promo images finally of the painted prototype of Thorfinn, and he looks all right, but now he's not releasing till February of next year, which is almost another year of waiting. So it's like 4 years just waiting for one figure, and it's like what's going on? Why so long? I know they make statues and other figures, but they need to do something.
And that's an official company, you know, pulling some canonical fit kind of stuff, where it's like you know, they have the budget, the money, the resources. You know, they can release it, but I don't understand why they just don't.
You know, I know
with the go ahead, Heath.
I think I get it. It's because I think Figma most of the time focuses on making figures like on their Ned droids. We've been recently getting stuff that is trying to compete with that from other companies like Figure Arts Minis that kind of look like Ned droids. But yeah, often I've noticed that they very much focus specifically on making Ned droids, and then the Figma figures are secondary.
You know what it is? Those are very popular. That's probably one of their most popular lines. But they do need to, put a little more focus on their figures. Because if they did, you would probably have people buying more of your figures. Update them a little bit better. Release them a little more quicker than years and years from when you first announced them.
You would have like a little contender for SH Figure Arts, you know. You would have like a little bit of a another option. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know about. I don't know if a lot of people know about Figma. Like they're always, you know, I always see a lot of people talk about SH Figure Arts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are kind of like you don't like see them promote their stuff too much.
Yeah.
So that I understand what you're saying there, which is true, and it's like, why not promote your product more often? You know what I mean?
And even then, and this is something else I noticed, is that the figures themselves, after they put it out, they don't re-release the figure, at least for a very long time. You know how long it took for them to release the Midoriya figure? Originally, that figure went for like like 80 or something bucks, or like $100, but then it later became one of the most expensive figures ever. And I remember
that.
I remember that figure being like one of my top most expensive figures in my collection, and then they wouldn't re-release it, and I'm just like, oh, I guess he's just
You're
there.
like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I think it's just the other thing too now is that the Figma My Hero license is just totally taken. It's totally,
everyone's got it.
Well, no, it's because most people are going for the Amazing Yamaguchi ones, which is very interesting. The Revoltech, I never thought. Now, I didn't think that we would even be seeing Revoltech taking up My Hero to the point where they're just saying no to the Figma. I thought it was, you know, it was like weird because I thought some of the stuff on there was weird, but now it's like they have so many accessories. I can see why people really like them. There's so many accessories. There's other different means of playability. They have articulated eyes with their figures. I mean, come on, who doesn't want those?
Or it's interchangeable eyes.
Yeah, or interchangeable eyes. But most of the time, like, Midoriya came with, you know, like articulated eyes, which is and it's like, I think it goes back to the whole thing in terms of like, you know, competition. Some of the other companies will do things in a different way, and Figma will just continue to do things exactly how they've always done them, which is very interesting. Boring way. But it's interesting. You want to know why I feel like this practice is like that? So they don't really change up their stuff. It's because with their Nendroids figures, they really don't have to do anything different. It's all the same exact style, the same exact articulation, same scaling for most of the things. So why when you're basically running a figure company where you're basically doing things and engineering things the same way that brings you success, why have the incentive to change how your other figures are if you
Yeah.
feel like it's gonna make money anyway? One of the things
Well,
that people would see is the Homelander figure that they released, and the Mafex one is so much better.
yeah. I mean, the faces aren't that bad on the Figma one, but I never had either of them. But if I had to choose, I would probably go with the
Yeah,
Mafex over
I've
the
seen
Figma one.
comparison videos with them. The some of the accessories on the I believe on the Homelander figure, they don't work as well as they should. I think Mafex
Yeah.
2 comes with a wired cloth cape, so I know you're very much in love with that. So no wonder you're gonna love the Mafex one.
Well, yeah, that's another thing. They do cloth clothing sometimes, like Thorfinn, and then we have the cloth cape on Figma's. Figma, of course, their Homelander, but does it have bendy wire?
Yeah,
Do
I
you
think it.
remember?
Okay, actually, looking at it, never mind. Okay, I think the Homelander does have a cloth cape. There is bendy wire in it. I think. Let me,
Yeah, it does have it. I just don't know if it has bendy wire because they usually don't use bendy wire, but they do use cloth items. So yeah, like their Leonidas from 300 had that cloth cloak or cape, no wire, but
mhm.
I would prefer a cloth cape over the plastic. So, but it's weird. See, that's something they can easily update, but they don't. Even their wrist joints. Remember their old wrist joints? They just had it was a very thin, fragile peg.
That's
These
right.
broke all the
Yeah.
time, and then it just had a hinge, and that was it. And it's like, whoa,
Ugh.
you're an import company, buddy. Oh God, that face doesn't look good up close.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I
They
think that was
just
a big
sent a
problem.
picture of Homelander. But yeah, they had the crappy peg that just swiveled, and then you just had the hinge.
Mhm.
I forgot when they finally updated it. I want to say maybe mid 2010s, somewhere around there. But it took them forever to update to a like a ball hinge wrist joint. And then, like what you and me always talk about with their Berserk stuff, when they first made their Berserk figures in like 2012, 2013, that they were still using the old wrist joint style.
Yeah.
Then, like I don't know if it was 5, 6, or 7 years later, they re-released Griffith and all the different Guts figures. And they were so lazy, they just kept those shitty wrist joints. They didn't, it's like you couldn't update something that minor. I mean, yeah, they might have had to do some retooling on the wrist for the pegs, but
It's
I feel
Berserk.
like,
Show some respect, Dan.
yeah, I feel like they they would have sold so much better if they at least updated that, which is a shame because when they did re-release them, nobody in the import figure world were using the swivel and hinge anymore. It was the ball hinge.
Yeah.
So, or barbell type joint or something. But that they took forever to update the wrist joints, and wrist joints and ankle joints to me are a very big, important part of articulation when it comes to an action figure.
Now this next competition kind of goes to show that I'll be honest. This one's I don't even think is as fair of a match. The Demon Slayer
Yeah.
line, Figma's Demon Slayer
Yeah,
line
yeah,
versus
yeah.
Buzzmod. Now I can understand why ultimately you're going to end up going with the Buzzmod. They use cloth clothing for pretty much a majority of their stuff. Tanjiro has a cloth jacket.
Yeah.
Zenitsu also has a cloth jacket. The
The
other
only one
character-
that doesn't was Rengoku.
Yeah, which is like very strange. I think I can kind of
Yeah.
understand that though because it's like you probably
Yeah.
don't need as much articulation with that. But
Yeah.
but in a majority of the figures, I would even say that if you don't want to worry about cloth goods, right? Some of the Figma Demon Slayer figures are pretty cool in terms of like you're getting water effects with Tanjiro that didn't come on the Buzzmod for whatever reason, and like and you still have some like you have some
No,
variety.
Tanjiro, I think had I don't know if he had no, Tanjiro I think he had a flame effect.
No, yeah, but I'm saying he came with water effects. He came with water and
Yeah,
fire effects
yeah,
on the
yeah.
Figma, but the
Yeah,
Buzzmod
yeah.
didn't have a water one.
Yeah, which is odd.
Yeah, and it's like so. The other thing too is that there's the deluxe editions that came with it, which pretty much gave you a lot of like what the Buzzmod was offering. But it's like because of the Buzzmods still, despite that, they came with a lot. it was the only this was an instance where the the competition was flipped because Buzzmod was more expensive, whereas Figma was actually cheaper in comparison if you wanted to get Demon Slayer figures, and they're not like as necessarily bad. But this is where we get into something that's absolutely inexcusable. I've seen so much backlash for how this figure came out, and I can't blame them when I look into it. The Figma Akaza is absolutely horrendous. How do you make that figure and then expect it to sell and have people like it? Like those knee joints, bro. The knee joints, they're like a Dragon Stars figure. I'm gonna send a picture.
Wait,
you could even see the pegs. You could even see the pegs on the side of the legs.
Yeah, it looks, bro.
Like what?
It's
and even
so it doesn't have pinless joints. What the?
Well, on the knees it didn't, and then he's very like skinny. And Akaza's like, he's not like super jacked, but the dude's like a muscular, intimidating.
Yeah.
demon.
Zoom into the picture that Sean sent in, like with that I was using to put in the background for the podcast. You'll see it right there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, so they
I
definitely
see it
dropped
now.
the ball
Oh,
on that one.
that looks. And
That
it's
is
not
the-
even paint. And it's not even painted like the pants color. It's
Bro.
like the skin color. What?
What you're looking at is the
Yeah,
farthest
just-
that knee can bend.
Really?
Oh, that is Dragon Star's articulation then.
But then you compare it to this, and it's so much better.
I know. It's like that's like one of the best figures. That's like considered to be one of the best.
Which one is
figures
that?
of last year? That's the Buzzmod one.
Oh, the Buzzmod
This
one.
one here. Yeah. This one's just. What's crazy though is when I review these. Excuse me. There are collectors who prefer the Figma ones over these mainly because of the price point. But people also don't like cloth goods with their figures, which I understand. Everybody has things they like better with figures than others, but there is people supporting the line and prefer the Figma stuff over the Buzzmod. But I do remember a few people saying they did prefer the Buzzmod Akaza over the Figma one. No, the Buzzmod.
Oh yeah, the Buzzmod, of course.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I saw it on your face. You're like, what?
Yeah,
yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't know why anyone would prefer the Figma one over the Buzzmod. It just doesn't make any sense.
Their
to me.
Rengoku isn't too bad looking though. That was another one people didn't know which way to go for. But I'm always gonna go with Buzzmod.
Yeah, I think Buzzmod has been like known to be the safer option, especially with their Daki figure. Like, I mean, I don't think that Figma has one that's out for it yet, but it's just like we can expect that one to be better because they have the wired goods like in the scarf thing that she throws around, the ribbon.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like
what
you
it's
would
called.
need that to be bendy wire anyway, because that's like a main thing about her character.
Because if it's gonna be done by Figma or like any other company, they're probably not gonna have it be like with bendy wire. It's probably gonna be like joints that connect it, like how
that's
they.
so stupid.
Yeah.
That's really stupid.
That is
Regal
most
Tech
likely how it
would
would
do
be
that.
done. Oh yeah, Regal
Yamaguchi
Tech would do that.
something like that.
100%.
Yeah, or Figma might just make it one piece of plastic, and they'll just have it pre-posed.
They'll have shorter
too.
versions of it and then longer versions of it for specific
Yeah,
poses,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's it. There's like no.
It kind of
playability.
reminds me of the Marvel Legends Doc Ock tentacles, where they just kind of
Yeah.
in one pose.
It's like you guys couldn't throw bendy wire in those.
Well, in the new one they did. The new Hasbro
Yeah.
Pulse one they did, but we'll save that for another.
Yeah, the old one they
conversation.
didn't. So I had that one,
Yeah.
and I was not happy with the tentacles.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what other figures with?
I think that the other thing that I can consider here is we can go into other figures that don't have any competition with them. Now I know a lot of people.
We were just we talked about the Bruce Lee, but I think there was another one that we were talking about.
There might be.
before.
Hold on. So we got Demon Slayer. We talked a little bit about Jujutsu Kaisen. We didn't go into that much into Jujutsu Kaisen. Now that I think about it, bro, the most recent release, like for the pre-orders, the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie Yuta. This is a big thing that sparks controversy because pretty much this figure is almost exactly how Figure Arts did it. They have the exact same accessories. They have the pretty much also the exact same facial expressions. Only difference is the styles that they release them in. And this goes to show the fundamental difference between the companies. It's just how much more Figma is charging for their Yuta as opposed to Figuarts. Figuarts has been out for a while. Heck, you can even get that Yuta figure discounted for like $40. But like buy that. It's an Let me get this out right now. Dude.
Oh yeah, there's the figure arts one.
This figure is amazing. Like this is simply one of the best figures ever introduced to the Jujutsu Kaisen line. Like you even have like some little like because even past like the double arm joint, you can get some more range out of that at the part of the forearm right there.
Oh yeah.
And adding in that new engineering, it makes the figure so much more fun. Like dude, you can do everything.
And Figma won't do that. Nice complete splits, but like that little added joint. Yeah, that little added joint makes it so you can get past 90 degrees. Now Figma would not do any updates like that or re-engineer it or resculpt it to give you that little added point of articulation. They'll just give you what they always give you and say good luck. But Figure Arts adds that little, even though it's a tiny bit of movement like that, it still helps and adds to it.
Yeah, I think that this is one of the so this is again, it's like a big thing. We have figures with the exact same articulation. Now, for other figures in the line, I can understand why you would charge for a little bit more. Even if the engineering is not as good as Figuarts, I can see why stuff would be charged more. The Chainsaw Man figure, you have Denji parts, you have interchangeable things, other things that go with it. I think that in terms of accessories, they did fundamentally a lot more with the Figma than the Figuarts. Like the Figuarts does not come with a lot. Let's just be real here.
Yeah.
Even Power, I still prefer the accessories from Figuarts and the price point, but the Figma Power comes with like a big, huge hammer. Now, you're not going to be able to actually get off pretty good articulation to pose it, unfortunately, but it comes with accessories so like that make it so I can somewhat understand the price point. Yuta.
Wait, Figure Arts doesn't have that one? The huge mallet?
No, I don't think they have the huge mallet. They have a lot of other stuff, but I don't think they have the huge mallet.
I think they had like 2 extra little blades or swords or something that Figma didn't have, but then Figma had the mallet.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
I believe so, yes. So like but yeah, Yuta, there's no more excuse. They had this figure out for so long. Then Figma's going to come out and make their own thing. Like why do they expect that figure to sell? Especially for the price point. That's like over $108. You can get this for $40. And it's so much better.
Yeah, what? Look at that.
It's so much
less than half the price.
Bro, I can pose this all day and not get bored.
It does look like a pretty fun figure.
I love this.
But
figure.
yeah, why would you want to spend a little more than double the price on the Figma one when you have the Figure Arts one right there? And you already know the articulation's better. I know it is. Figma is lacking horribly in that department with their figures because like we've been saying throughout this podcast, they refuse to update anything, and it's ridiculous. It's like what's going on? There's a lot of joints they can update or even add into their figures so you have more points of articulation.
Honestly, if I was to tell you like what's going on through Figma's head, I don't think that they necessarily care about competition. I think that they just want to release stuff for the sake of doing things. I think that they don't necessarily care about competition and making their figures better. It's just like here's a Figma version of this figure that you got, which is already better and costs less from Figuarts. Here's our version. Quite frankly, like when this figure's already been out, how do you expect this to sell? At that point, it's a marketing decision. How do you expect this figure to sell? What are you bringing new to the Yuta figure that Figuarts hasn't already done? Like even in the
with
promo
your
pictures,
price tag.
Even in the promo pictures, you can tell like it's not nearly as good as articulated as the Figuarts. I don't need to have that figure in hand. This isn't even me trying to be biased. It's just like, why would you want that figure?
You have him in the Karate Kid kicking pose?
I could, yeah.
You almost have him in it.
I was just messing with it. I don't know what I was doing. My mind was taking over.
Karate Kid pose? From the original? Yeah.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Karate Kid. Oh shit. Damn, I was gonna say something.
One one other weird thing I think with Figma is the means
Yeah.
of which you get you. Sometimes they have pre-order bonuses. When it came to the
Yeah,
Izuku
yeah, yeah.
Midoriya, they had a pre-order bonus. You would get a masked head to go alongside
Yep.
with it.
I remember
Or
that.
and actually this is lesser known, but when it came to the Ace Attorney figure, the Phoenix Wright figure, he had like a little shrugged embarrassed face that you would get, which is so many of these accessories are fundamentals. Why is it that they lock these accessories behind pre-orders, making it to where not a lot of people can get them? I think
Yeah.
that they add to the figure, and if it's not that much more, then just like to just include it with the rest. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, it's like what they want you to pre-order it. That's why. You know what I noticed too lately? Figma used to have a huge fan base, and they were practically on the same level as like Figure Arts at a time, and Mafex was kind of going back and forth. To me, Mafex surpassed them. Mafex to me is one of my favorite figure companies.
Yeah.
Figure Arts is still up there, but I used to like Figma that much too. But over time, you're just like, see you later, as you keep passing with other figure lines. It's like the slow driver in the
I remember when
slow
Mafex
lane, and everybody's passing them.
I remember
Sorry.
when no, go ahead, champ. Sorry, you didn't talk.
Yeah.
No, I was just about to say, like, it's funny because when I first started getting into SH Figure Arts with the OG Dragon Ball stuff, I remember hearing a lot about Figma, and that's what got me into buying the Saitama in the first place. But then it's just like as years went by, I heard more about other companies, and Mafex, like you mentioned, which is just, I'm still trying to get one of those Spider-Man freaking figures, and they're just so hard, difficult to get, and I just, it sucks. But like, it is true what you say. Like, Figma is just kind of like fading, out of. Well, I don't want to say the fading out of existence.
Well, they're figures, at least.
Yeah, it's just that they're not doing as well, and they're just not good as. I say good as quality as SH Figure Art. It's like hard to compete
It's
with.
funny that you mentioned Mafex, because the funny thing is that Mafex used to be considered one of the worst import figure companies ever.
Yeah.
There were so many
really?
QC issues. Things would be breaking all the time. Multiple different Batman releases that were just horrendous. And then eventually, you know what happened? They did what Figma should have done. They improved their products. They improved their quality. Now they have some of the most sought after figures throughout. Like lots of action figure collecting and they do the best things with Spider-Man. They have
a lot of Batman like DC stuff too.
Bro.
Yeah.
Point is, Mafex did what they needed to do, and now they're the top dog.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's crazy when they first came out. Yeah, they were a new company. They were pretty bad though for like a year and a half, going on 2 years. But then that's when they did a complete 180. Like you said, they updated their plastic. They fixed the major issues they were having with their figures. A lot of issues was the wrist joints breaking, and I think they added a piece of metal in their wrist joints. So doesn't
Mafex have wired capes?
Yeah.
For like that's
why.
They're not quite as good. They don't connect into the shoulder piece, right? Like, they're wired, but they don't like stay up.
Pretty much every company does that. Yeah, Mafex is probably the best when it comes to cloth wired capes, but that doesn't mean their capes are the best cloth wired capes. All right.
Yeah.
What was that? Nah, but
for those listening in and not watching the video, he's pointing at himself because he's suggesting he makes the best capes.
Be sure to order at Etsy Daredevil 19. Link will be in the
description below.
Makes the best cloth capes ever. I'll get more of them.
Nah, but yeah, that's a big thing toy companies don't understand. Like like with the SH Figure Arts, the Batman, it was connected to a plastic piece, and they didn't put the wire into the plastic piece, so you couldn't pose it like in like if he's jumping, you can't have it sprawled out. So there's little tricks to stuff that toy companies still don't comprehend, and they can't get it right with their capes. But Mafex probably definitely one of the better cloth wired cape makers in the figure world as of now. So all right,
which isn't saying
where should we go to next?
Which isn't saying quite as much.
Yeah.
I would say, what is the best figures in terms of Figma that you think that don't okay, the best Figma figures that you can think of that do not have any competition, because most likely the competition beats them out anyways. When it's third party.
Oh,
influence.
some of their video game stuff is good, like
Ghost in the Shell. I mean, not Ghost in the Shell. Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, that figure was badass, and they did another one with a similar samurai. Those are really good figures, actually. Well, I only got the Ghost of I think that one, or was it?
I didn't even know they made a Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, they made. I hope I'm not mixing them up, but they made both because those games came out around the same time. I'm
gonna look this up.
I was hoping you would actually come up with this one, because I think you did a figure review of this Figma figure way back when. It is the Figma Link from Legend of Zelda Twilight.
Oh yeah, it's like their video game stuff they kick ass with.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing that.
Isn't that still like the best Link figure ever made?
The Twilight Princess one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good figure. Like they do have some figures that are badass, but
Figma has potential. I think they just need someone in the company to just kind of shine, like bring them, in the right direction to actually make the company good again. Like not the company. Well, the 6-inch scale side of things. Good.
Yeah, it's like getting neglected. It's not their priority, and it's a shame because they can make some really nice figures.
Nendroid is their priority. Like, come on. Like, I want to see more.
Yeah, it is. And those probably sell like hotcakes.
You can get the Skyward Sword Legend of Zelda Figma for on Big Bad Toy Store for $70 plus.
Is that in stock or a pre-order?
Oh, that's in stock right now.
Very good figure. Highly recommend.
Yeah,
Skyward Sword.
Yes, I don't have that figure, but I know it's good.
I might grab it.
Is that when he's younger?
I might grab.
No, you're thinking of young Link.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think that's adult. I'm still getting into Legend of Zelda. My girlfriend, forces bleak. I love you, hon. I've been getting into Nintendo, and I'm playing Breath of the Wild at the moment, so I can play Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm seeing what cool Link figures there are. So.
Bro,
there's
legit,
a lot of great.
I can't wait till you're gonna finish Breath of the Wild off beforehand too. Breath of the Wild, one of my favorite games. Ever made, like from on the Nintendo Switch. It's an amazing game.
Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
Now there's a ton of great Zelda games out there from N64 to Switch. They've made so many, but Figma does kill it with Link figures from Zelda. Even their Zelda wasn't too bad either. But I think the lower portion of her dress restricted the articulation. I think.
Oh, are you thinking of Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds? The younger looking one?
No, they're grown and adults. It was like Twilight Princess or some shit. I think it's Twilight Princess, yeah. Because they made Link and they made Zelda.
Yes, they did. Yeah, they did make Zelda.
Yeah.
Zelda is the one that has problems.
Oh yeah, her dress I think was a plastic, so you really could not move her legs at all. But
at that point, it was a nice
looking
piece.
figure. Yeah, pretty much. You can only move the arms and legs. But yeah, this Zelda is the one that I used to have. Twilight Princess.
Yeah, that one.
I love that. Is a great figure.
Yeah.
Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, yeah, they look almost. I think did they use the same faceplates? No, they didn't. No, they're different. Okay.
Nah, yeah. How about their it's a pretty popular line. I never got it from them though. Oh, their sword art.
Oh,
Sword
Art Online. Oh god.
Aren't those figures really good too?
Figures that should have been re-released.
I mean, how are their Attack on Titan figures? People seem to like them.
I know I don't have them, but like I think that some people do like. A lot of people do like them.
Yeah.
I feel like those figures are the ones with the most amount of bootlegs because no one else makes them.
Probably.
Like
I go
to a Little Tokyo here in California. They are stocked filled with them.
The bootlegs.
Yeah, with the bootleg versions. Hell, none of them can get the actual authentic
those
ones.
stores got to be doing some like money laundering or stuff like that.
You got to go right here to the back alley, and that's where they sell them. half the price.
Oh, no kidding.
It'd be the same store that has those like wall scrolls of Goku making out with Sailor Moon or something.
They would have a ton of different, special products, hidden in the back.
Yeah,
that you can go ahead and
special.
grab. Yes, like highly exclusive, one of a kind products
Mm-hmm.
that definitely aren't not like copied, taken from elsewhere.
And what's crazy with Figma, back in the day, I would always make like most wanted figures or something. And there was always a lot of series I wanted to see Figma take on. But now,
I just want to see Figure Arts do it.
I want to reverse it. Yeah, I don't want them doing that stuff anymore.
It's like,
But Figure Arts is pretty much taking over everything now. So,
bro, they're like
all the main
Mappa.
stuff.
They're like the animation studio of the figure companies. They're just like Mappa right now. They do
with-
everything.
But they with Figure Arts, that is their main focus, which is why their figures are great. And they continue to be great, and they continue to update them. They continue getting more licenses and giving more series a try. And Figma is just, they had the ball, dropped it. They had it again, dropped it. It's like a repeat cycle they were in, and you could see where they're heading right now. They're not heading in a good direction when it comes to 1/12 scale figures.
It's like the thing is with Figma. Now, okay, they did make some really good figures I do want to pick up, and that is some of their Yu-Gi-Oh figures. They have a really good Yu-Gi and Kaiba that you can pick up, and there's the amount of like accessories is like the poses you can get into are good because here's the thing with these figures, you don't need to get them into some high kick flying poses. I mean, they're playing on their dual disc. The Yugi's got the Millennium Puzzle, like they're not punching or anything. All you need to do is pose, like Yugi drawing cards, holding cards, things like that. And it's like it does everything like that. So in that regard, it's like when you don't have to worry about the engineering being like super high top tier and the sculpting, it's like it's good, but. Like again, that's it.
I remember another line that's pretty good. Fate, Stay Night, or the Fate series.
Mm-hmm.
They made a lot of good figures in that line, like their Lancer. That is an amazing figure. That's probably one of their best figures I think they've ever made. But they made a lot of good figures. Another one Champ really wants to get is their Indiana Jones figure.
Champ, you might want to reconsider
Grandpa
that.
Jones.
Figure Arts is making.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Because we had the conversation last week where he looked like an old man, and I was just like, so it's like I rather just wait to see what SH Figure Arts is doing, or just get the Hasbro one where they're coming out.
I almost called it Marvel Legends. Hasbro, yeah. I mean, same company, but
yeah.
Here's a figure I want to sell, but I'm kind of salty about it and never sold it. It's this Bakugo here.
How much? I'll buy it off you.
I got this, bro. I got this figure on like for $90. Now it's like super cheap. You can get it for like $60. If I want to sell it, I have to sell it for even less. And
that's which brand is that?
Figma.
Twilight. That's Figma.
Yeah, the company we've been talking about this entire video, bro.
Yeah.
No, wait, that's like because. Let me look this up.
But if you compare Figma's My Hero stuff,
because I know their
heads are
Midoriya's
so
like
large.
Yeah, I would say that I actually like the sculpt. I actually like the accuracy of the faces. I think that some of those are inherent a little bit better than the Amazing Yamaguchi.
No, I'm just saying, like Midoriya's head, I felt like was too big.
No, I can. Wait, on the Figma?
Yeah.
Really?
Unless that's how.
On Amazing Yamaguchi or Figma?
Figma.
Wow. Okay. Let me pull it out now.
Yeah, pull up the Yamaguchi one and then pull up the Figma, and look how big his head looks.
Well, I don't have the Yamaguchi one, but I can get you the Figma.
Well, yeah, just look at the picture of a Yamaguchi one. But like it's either his body's too skinny.
Good small company.
Yeah, I don't know because like look at the size of his fist compared to his face.
Oh yeah, you're right about the Bakugo. He's like cheaper than Midoriya.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that happens sometimes. Most figures do go up in price, but some go down.
Yeah,
I mean it's not that bad, but if you compare
that's why I was surprised he said that because I was like, wait, hold on.
I was actually
there's like
I was actually this one I liked more than the Amazing Yamaguchi, not just because like because this basically did not have any of the problems that I had. I mean, sure you do have like the Figma joints in there, but they're covered by the thing that goes around, so you don't have like that ugly thing on the outside. Like these move
Yeah.
around the joints that hides them around. I love that engineering right there. They actually
Yeah.
help out with they actually help out with posing. In the face, like bro, I love this
Yeah.
teeth gritted yelling face. Look,
They're great. Most of the time, they're good with doing face sculpts, especially for anime characters. They're usually on point.
trying to get
He's
it.
trying to
That I
focus.
agree with. Yeah, if it doesn't focus, I'll have to put. There we go.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really good at face sculpts for anime characters because that's like one of their main things: anime characters and like video game characters.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, any time that it's like a real life person, it's like they run into problems.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a real life like a actor they've made.
Homelander and Bruce Lee.
Yeah, Bruce Lee fell. Homelander, some faces okay, some faces aren't.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they use the 3D printing for like actors' faces because most companies besides McFarlane do that. I don't know why he
Yeah.
doesn't do that.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
It's
like,
bro, come on.
it's like your comic yeah, like your comic book versions of them look great, but just
Yeah.
when you do the actual person, I mean, they're
Oh.
you know,
Like their Michael Keaton, the unmasked Michael Keaton Batman from Flash.
Yeah.
What in the hell is that, McFarlane?
And the-
What is that?
I completely forgot about this. The Figma made a Captain America.
Oh yeah, they made Avengers.
And Deadpool stuff too.
Yeah, the Thor face wasn't good. Well, Deadpool was a comic. The Deadpool I liked though. Some people hated it. Some people.
I thought it was a
loved
movie version. Oh, you're right. It was comic Deadpool.
Nah, yeah,
you're
it was
right.
a comic
yeah.
one. Because the only import company that made a version one was Figure Arts, and that's recent too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Marvel Legends. But yeah, they made Thor. Did they? Yeah, their Hulk wasn't too bad. That was a very like nice, like display piece. The Thor face sculpt was like very soft and really didn't look like Hemsworth too much, but it wasn't like horrible. But it wasn't that good. Captain
did they,
America.
did
Nobody
they ever
can get
make
his
a-
face right.
Did they ever make a Iron Man one?
Yeah,
Oh, I
The
see it
one
now. The Mark
from-
7.
yeah, from the first
Avengers.
Avengers. But I don't know if he
Yeah.
had an unmasked head sculpt.
Yeah, he was like
I think he could lift his front of the mask off. I think I could be wrong. There might have been another toy company.
looking on the website now. Yeah, it doesn't look like he comes with like an alternate face or anything, but it does
Yeah.
look pretty good. I mean,
Their Hulk was really nice though. They nailed the Hulk. That was probably the best one out of all the Avengers. And their Iron Man was really nice. But yeah, Chris Evans. Wow, I had to think. There's so many
There
Chris's in the MCU. Chris Evans, nobody can get his face. He has such a generic looking face. I guess it's hard for them to capture his look, no matter who it
Yeah.
is. I don't even know who was the closest so
Even-
far.
I
Hot
think
Toys
maybe
probably
Marvel
the-
Legends. I feel like
Yeah.
Marvel Legends might have been.
Hot Toys was the
Possibly,
closest.
yeah.
But even then, like
'Cause-
Hot Toys, I feel still something wrong with it, like with the way. he
Yeah,
moves.
his face is just one of those faces you can't really replicate too well in figure form, which is rare. But yeah.
My man's too beautiful to be duplicated. But yeah, like I think that okay, we'll talk about this in a little bit more detail. This is something that Figma is doing different, admittedly. Just the Thorfinn figure. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
most of the Thorfinn figure, if has cloth clothing all around it. This is something like what they did with it's like they're taking some aspects of what BuzzMod does with some of their figures
Yeah.
and applying it there. Because I think
Yeah,
it
yeah.
makes sense. Because if that whole thing was plastic, I don't even know how you would get this Thorfinn figure to move, especially soft rubber plastic.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't look right.
Yep. Yeah. So I really do like that they did that. That is such a smart move by them. Because examples like that, say it was plastic around his neck, you wouldn't be able to really articulate his head at all.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to articulate the arms too much, even around the waist and the hip joints too.
Even then,
So-
with some of these joints, it's I'm still very skeptical about how this figure is gonna move. Where's
Yeah.
it's like the torso articulation is non-existent in some of these jumping pictures.
Nah, I think it's just under the clothing there.
No,
so
I
you
know that
can't
it's
see
there,
it.
but I'm seeing it's like the amount of range. I don't think it has a lot of range to it. Like the one where
Yeah,
the
some
one where he's
people are
jumping.
afraid of that as well. They said they're afraid his arms can't go past like 90 or won't hit 90 or something. Because none of the poses and all the promo pictures, his arms are like up to here. So that could be possible, but we do not know yet.
I can see that. No, I can see that being a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see the sleeves are cloth clothing, not the black part. There's the brown part from his cloth clothing. I do like the little string they put. That looks pretty cool around the neck.
Mm-hmm. That is
Um,
pretty cool.
yeah. Some people think his head's too. Someone said his head was either too big or too small.
It's hard to get the grasp on the proportions just from pictures, and also because like you
Yeah.
don't really see the rest of the body underneath his clothes.
And someone was like, he's too tall. It's like, how can you tell? I mean, you could go by the stand.
Where's the
but-
scale? Okay, yeah. Actually,
Yeah, like you can't tell, but maybe by the stand you could tell. I don't know.
I think actually, hold on. If we take it by the stand, I have a Figma stand. Like, let's take the Deku figure.
They haven't showed it like in person yet.
No, if we go by the scaling of the stand, because I'm looking at
It-
it right now. This is about where it stands. Hold on. So Thorfinn is like so. To
it's
replicate
really
the pose,
bent. It's really bent though. I don't know if you could see it. See
I
it?
think he's
It's
about
really-
as honestly looking at it. I think he might be around as tall as Midoriya.
Yeah, he
In
could
which
be.
case,
And if
that's decent scaling.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. So, but I don't think it looks like some people are really hating on it, and some people are loving it. Like I think it looks pretty good. That's why I pre-ordered it. I just think the knee joints look pretty ugly when you bend them, and is that a different type of knee joint?
No, it's this. Actually, I mean, it looks like Figma.
Look at it, yeah.
It's ugly. But you're right.
Yeah.
Actually, you're right. It might be new. It's still ugly though.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, it's like what
Ugh.
Shartimus said in the episode with him is that like if people like the character, they're going to buy it. They're going to buy the figures
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah.
And that's why some of the exclusive figures that they have that isn't competing with other people, they're going to sell well. They
Yeah.
just are.
And there's
But-
no other Thorfinn figure out there right now, so.
But ultimately, I think we can, from what we've learned on this episode, is that the biggest problem with Figma is the actual people running it. They're not improving their engineering. They're
Yep.
making questionable choices as to what figures they go ahead and release, and then they're kind of being all over the place, but not really accomplishing any dramatic things at the same time.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like they're at a standstill
They're
and
just
they don't
there.
want to move forward.
they're just
You know?
there.
Yeah, and like what I was saying before, they used to have a huge following and people loved Figma and couldn't wait for figures to release and announcing new stuff, but you don't see people going too crazy when they announce new stuff anymore. And I just see people just talking about them all the time because they're just so sick of their bullshit, which
I can't blame
I
them.
understand. Yeah, I understand where they're coming from. I understand people that are still fans because they've always been, but I'm leaning more towards the frustrated collector. Like they're not. I'm not like really frustrated. It's annoying, you know. It's like, what are you guys doing? You're a good toy company. Like, what's going on? So they're just them and Mezco. I think are struggling to win the collectors over. That's what I think right now in 2023.
Yeah, we should save that. We should save like the whole Mezco topic for another video. I think that's another can of worms.
Yeah,
I need
yeah,
to know
we
a little
don't
bit more of
say-
before we talk about it.
Oh yeah, they're. I mean, but Mezco has some really hardcore fans, so we might get some hateful comments on that one. But yeah,
I mean, I can
You're just
like
speaking
I'm not even
facts.
collecting them, but I've heard horror stories of people trying to pre-order on their site and having
Yeah.
things just instantly sell out, and it being very difficult to even get some of their figures nowadays.
not just that, like just the '89 Batman. Look at that for an example. It was supposed to release like 2 years or a year and a half before it released.
I remember this-
and they don't say anything, and you're like, I paid for this. What the f- is going on? You know, so
I remember
Champ's like,
Oh yeah, I remember the joke. Okay, yeah, I remember this one. This was an exclusive on their website. It's pretty much like
Oh, wait,
the
no.
same problems with Premium Bandai, but on steroids. The problems with the Joker, like Premium
Someone say
Bandai.
Premium Bandai?
Yeah, bro, it's like the
Hold on.
Mezco's website is even worse than Premium Bandai. Whenever they have an exclusive figure on their site, like the Joker, for example, they can instantly sell out, automatically go up on eBay for aftermarket pricing for anyone
Yeah.
else who wants to get it for more, because it's basically that, but then also the problems with the PS5 in terms of having scalpers. Like people
Yeah, yeah.
would go on the Mezco's site just to scalp and sell it for even higher money in the aftermarket.
No.
Jeez. It's hard to be a figure
mean-
collector out here, man.
It is, man.
Yeah.
Just keeps getting
But-
worse.
That probably pushes a lot of people to do that more with how inflated prices of stuff became. Like even figures, everything it keeps going up, and it's just. I mean, there's always been scalpers, and they're always
Yeah.
going to be around. So, but it might be pushing more people to do it. Shh, quiet, my son.
Dang it, Luffy.
But yeah, he's over there. He's going, hey, He's rolling around in the bed. But yeah, from Figma, I hope they take things more seriously and stop messing around, because you guys can make some good figures, and it's a damn shame what's happening to their action figure. Their action figures, it sucks, but we're not over there running stuff. I don't know if you guys have any final thoughts.
Honestly, final thoughts is just pretty much to wrap up what I said. It's just like Figma needs
Yeah.
to, and I've kind of already said it too. Like Figma, they just need to update their stuff. They need to make better decisions for what figures they release, and they need to actually, get their shit together. There you go.
All right, champ, finish it off. Finish it off with your final thoughts. Whoops.
My final thoughts is
Yeah.
that, again, I'm not a big, Figma collector, but,
Yeah.
I am interested after, talking with you guys about, getting their Link figure, and I do want to kind of explore more figure lines, so, but
Yeah,
if
they're good.
Figma is going to have these problems, it is going to turn people like me off from buying from them and just stick with SH Figure Arts or other companies,
Mhm.
or even third-party companies, because, I'm going to do it for the second time. This is a piece of shit. So anyway,
Right, and inside he's like, I'm gonna make sure it lands on my bed. I do the
it
same
actually
thing.
landed on my carpet.
Oh, wow.
The soft carpet, and then still did not break. So
Well, if you get the Dassin model, maybe just flip
I
that one
actually
and
have
sell
it.
it.
It's on.
Oh, you already
shelf
have
with
it?
Yes.
Yep. I
Oh.
got it last Christmas, and it's a beaut. But
Yeah, it's much better
yeah.
than that, the Figma.
But yeah, everyone in the comments, please let us know what your opinions on Figma and what all these other stuff that they keep doing, and just, are you tired of them doing this? Do you want them to update this stuff? Do you want them to be a worthy contender to SH Figure Arts? Let us know in the comments below, and let us know what other topics you want us to talk about. Could be anything about video games, not just toys, video games, movies, anime, anything you want. So, again, please let us know in the comments. But thank you guys for watching. Heesh, I'll let you sign us out.
All right. You did a pretty much good. You pretty much did a good job. We'll see you guys in the comment section. Till then.
See ya! Thanks for listening to our episode. If you're on YouTube and watch the video, then thank you for watching as well. We are your hosts, Starblast Studios, and me, Daredevil19. And if you enjoyed our episode on Spotify, be sure to give us a follow and a rating. And we do thank you. And if you did watch this on YouTube, be sure to give a like if you liked it, and a subscribe if you enjoyed it. And we will catch you on the next episode of the Plastic Power Podcast.